Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday, y'all. Welcome to Bankroll Your Brains Thursdays, where I join you every Thursday to give you tips to bankroll your brains. My name is Nicole Roberts Jones. I'm known as a Bankroll Your Brains expert. So there are three areas that we cover here on Bankroll Your Brains Thursdays. Area number one is your brilliance, being clear on what it is and how it is the answer to a group of people that need that insight, that expertise, that intellect that you have. The second area is a value tied to it. The third is how do you make multiple streams of revenue from it? So today, our conversation is around area number two, as I talked to you about moving away or moving beyond balance. Now, listen, as you're coming in, tell me hello. Tell me name and where you're joining from. And listen, if you're here with me, if you've been here with me in the past, you know my background looks different. I'm on the road today, so I'm coming to you. Trying to check my audio. I'm coming to you from sunny Florida, right? And so, with that said, I'm going to get this party started again. As you're coming in, tell me hello. Let me pull it up here on my iPad so I can see your comments because sometimes I can't see them here in StreamYard. So, with all of that said, let me make sure my volume's down. Tell me name and where you're joining from. And if any of what I'm sharing with you resonates with you, I want you to either give me a hey, wave your hand. I want you to give me some fire emojis. If you have questions, ask them as I share, right? So how many of you guys have heard people talk about having work-life balance? So I'm going to tell you, I tried work-life balance. I tried to have balance and I failed every time I tried to create more balance in my life. And so to make a long story short, I no longer believe in balance. So what I do believe is something that I teach my clients called Equalize. And I call it that because one day I was in the car with my husband and well, I got in the car after my husband and he had been driving my car and my bass on my radio was really, really, really low. And I thought, that's how Daryl likes his music, but that is not how I like my music. And bling, it hit me. What you've got to do is you have to learn how to equalize your life. So what's going to work for you may not work for your husband, your kids, your sister, your mate, whatever, your wife, whatever that is, right? But you've got to figure out what works for you. And so what I quickly discovered are 5 things you've got to do to equalize your life. All right, you ready? And I see a lot of y'all are here, but nobody's making comments. Where you at? Where you at? Say hello. You know, you don't walk in somebody's house and not say hi. So at least say, hey, Nicole, and tell me where you are in the world. Even those of you that are watching the replay. All right. And let me say this, when you are trying to multitask and do multiple things, first of all, multitask was actually that concept was created for a computer, not for a human. And so when you're trying to do all these things, hi, Lubin, I appreciate you for saying hello. Hey, Johnny in New Orleans. Yes, Nola. Hey, Wanda. I love it. People are saying hello. So listen. Hey, Cindy in the Cayman Islands. So you understand I have island hair because I'm here in Florida and my hair is doing crazy stuff in a good way. So Chicago in the house. I love it. So listen, the reason why I created this is because I began to get stressed and overwhelmed trying to get everything done, trying to be everything to everybody, which meant I ended up being nothing to myself. You've heard me say you can't pour into other people from an empty cup, right? So I've been drinking coffee, right, earlier. If this cup is empty, and this cup being me, and I'm trying to pour into my children, or pour into my husband, or pour into my job, or pour into my girlfriends, I can't serve them if my cup is empty. So that's when I began to realize that this balance thing ain't working. And I created these principles for myself. And then I began to teach them to women that I am blessed to coach and teach. And so today I'm going to give you the 5 principles you've got to do to equalize your life. That's what I call it. Okay. So number one is be here now. Now, in order for me to explain that to you, I'm going to tell you a story of a client. So one of my clients, who at the time was an executive for how I'm trying not to tell because I didn't get permission to tell this story, executive for a department store that we all shop in. Let me say it that way. Okay. Vice president of a department in a department store, big high role, right? And she was working with me to start a business alongside that. So she's already busy in her daytime job and now she's getting busy as an entrepreneur. And I talked to her about spending time with her son because it's important. As a mom, as a wife, you got to spend time with people you love. You can't just work all the time. And so one Saturday, now she paged me. This is how long ago this was, y'all, that she actually paged me, not called me, not even text me. Okay, paged me. That's how long ago it was. So she sent me a text or via pager, and it was like a 911. And I was like, none of my clients call me 911. And I was really concerned. So I called her back. And when I called her, she was in tears. And she said, Nicole, this morning, this is a Saturday morning again, against my better judgment, I listened to you and I went out with my girlfriends. I went to brunch with my girlfriends, knowing that on Monday morning, I have to go out on a business trip and I haven't spent any time with my son. But I knew I needed to have time for me. So I went. And she said the entire time, excuse me, she was at this brunch with her girlfriend. She felt guilty. She was thinking about her son. So she wasn't fully present at the brunch. So she couldn't wait to get back in her car to call her son. Now, she knew that her husband would be picking her son up from a birthday party that he was going to. So she gets in the car, she calls her husband, and he puts her son on the phone, and her son goes, "Hi, mommy," all excited. And she's puzzled by his excitement. And she goes, "Why are you so excited?" And here's what he said back to her. He said, "Today you got to hang out with your friends, and I got to hang out with my friends. And now tonight we all get to have dinner together. Me, you, and daddy." And so she realized she wasted her entire day worried about her son, worried about him not thinking she was a good mom. And she ruined her day. And so she was crying because she realized that she had been doing, I'll tell you number two in a minute, but she wasn't present with her girlfriends. She was worried about all the things she didn't get done and all the things that didn't happen and all the things that. So, one, you've got to be present, be here now. They call today present, like this moment we're in right now is the present, which is a gift. Only if you fully maximize the gift that is now. So if you hold up your now, worried about who you didn't call, what you didn't do, or what you're going to do and getting ready for that thing, but not living in this moment, you miss the moment. Now, the second principle, which she also was dealing with, and I want you to think about this, let go of the story you're telling yourself is number two. So number one is be here now. Number two is let go of the story you're telling yourself. See, what she was telling herself is that she wasn't a good enough mom. What she was telling herself is that she should have not been there and she should have done this and she should have done that. How many of you guys tell these stories and have these stories in your mind of the things that you forgot to do, or you need to do, or you didn't do? So if you're going to be fully present, what I always do is when I have a thought in my mind, I open up a note. I have so many notes I got a text. I got so many notes in this note section in my iPhone. So many notes. I can scroll for probably hours of all the notes. Like you can't see it in my iPhone. So in order for me to be present, I got to get it out of my mind. By the way, those of you that have ever tried to meditate, that's the same thing that happens when you try to meditate. If you're going to be here now, other things come up. I'm so glad Yolanda. Yolanda said, "Wow, I needed this. I'm so glad," right? Listen, other things come up in your mind. Instead of you acting like it's not there and it lingers, write it down so you can do it later. Get it out of your mind. Because a story will tell you, "Oh, well, I'm not a good enough mom because I didn't spend time with my son." But she needed that girlfriend time. Sometimes you might need to go get a massage. Because again, you've got to pour into yourself because you cannot give to anyone, including your business, including your career, from an empty cup. And then you've got to let go of the story you're telling yourself. So here's my challenge to you for the next week. I want you to stop every time you tell yourself something like, I'm not good enough because I didn't do ... Or, "Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot ... Or, "Oh, I can't forget." So you're thinking about what you can't forget. So you're not here now. I want you to stop and write those things down and realize many of those things are stories you're telling yourself. When you tell yourself, "I'm not a good enough mom," or I remember a woman that I was coaching told me that she needed to lose weight before she started her business. I said, "Well, are you starting a fitness business?" She said, "No." I said, "Then who cares how much you weigh? That's a story." So stop and think about the stories you tell yourself. We all do it. Okay. So that's number two. You see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes. Number three is plan your days. If you don't plan out your days, listen, I remember when I started my business, I had 2 daytime jobs, 2, not 1. And my bonus children were little, and I had just gotten married, so the ink wasn't dry on my wedding certificate yet. Okay, marriage certificate rather yet. So I was trying to do all these things, right? So what I quickly realized is that I can't balance my days. Hold on, my allergies are acting crazy. Let me take a sip of water. Hold on. Yes, Avril. She said, pour into yourself. Yes, you have to, right? So listen, what I quickly learned when I had two jobs, and well, really three, because I was an adjunct professor at Boston University at the time, and I taught at the University of Phoenix online. Plus, I was doing this that I'm doing now, and my bonus children were little, and I had just got married. Okay, so I had never been a mom, so I was trying to be the perfect, right? So what I quickly learned is that I had to plan every single minute of my day. So if you just let whatever happen whenever, then you're not being strategic. You're just not. So I literally had to start planning out every single minute. I had to be strategic with my time. I had to be strategic with my lunch and take my lunch when I didn't have an office in my car so I can do a coaching call while I was eating for my business. Or when I got an office, close the door, right? And have that hour for myself and literally. So you've got to plan out your days. You got to set out time to do things that are important to you as you plan out your days. So that client I told you about earlier, things that were important to her was her girlfriend time that she was missing because she was telling herself she wasn't a good enough mom. So she finally went, even though that time she wasn't present. But let me tell you, I've seen her recently and she's fully present now. Right? So what are the things that are important to you? For me, it's a massage. Once a month I get a massage, right? At least once a month. I have girlfriend time. Now I do it more than once a month, but at least because I can get busy. Listen, I love what I do. Matter of fact, I'm in Florida because my husband's company, and my husband's an executive in the company. The CEO said, "Come down to Florida, all the executives, and bring your wives." So I'm going to a lunch after, well, one more live after this, and then I'm going to lunch with the wives. So you've got to look at how can you plan out your day. So I plan my day today around doing this. The wives that are going to lunch are meeting at 1:30 because I finish at 1:30, so I'll be a little late, but they know. I'll text when I'm on my way. So you don't have to leave anything out when you plan out every single minute of your days and you add in the things that are important to you, not your kids, not your spouse, not your mother. What's important to you? That gets planned first. Everything else gets filled in after that. Okay. So number one, be here now. Number two, let go of the story you're telling yourself. Number three, plan your days. Number four, find ways to integrate peace of mind into your life. So you've got to know what gives you peace. So when you're stressed out and overwhelmed, what gives you peace? See, for me, what I quickly learned is being by the ocean gives me peace, which is one of the reasons I say yes to come to Florida, right? And I'm getting ready to go sit at the rooftop at lunch, right? But what gives you peace? So for me, it's sitting by the ocean, sitting by water. So before we had a pool, which my husband and I, about 4 or 5 years ago, invested in a pool, love it. But during the winter, I can't sit at that pool. I live on the East Coast. So I bought a waterfall because listening to that water when I'm having a hectic, stressful day, even though I love what I do, I still have stress because sometimes I got a lot to do, right? That brings me peace of mind. My massage is once a month. So you've got to know what gives you peace of mind and know when you need to go and get it. Again, pouring back into you. Listen, every morning, Jesus time for me gives me peace of mind, gives me my peace of mind. So again, you got to know what do you need and when do you need to go and get it, right? So number four, oh, I skipped one. No, I didn't. That was number four. So number one, be here now. Number two, let go of storytelling yourself. Number three, set aside time to do things that are important to you. That plan your days, right? That was number three. Plan your days. Set aside time to do things important to you. Number four, find ways to integrate peace of mind in your life. And number five is my favorite. Number five is my favorite. You ready? No is a complete sentence. No is a complete sentence. So you don't have to explain to people why you said no. You know, what I find interesting is when you explain to people why you're saying no, they're going to talk you into a yes. So you don't give them that room. And then sometimes I am creative with my no. So I remember when remember I told you I had two daytime jobs and when I was at Boston University, and maybe my department head would call me in a meeting. I wouldn't say no. Now you guys know at 12 o'clock I had coaching calls. So if he said to me, "Can you meet at 12?" I would say I can meet at 2. So I never said no. Technically, I did, but I didn't use that word. So I learned to do that because when I say, no, I can't meet at 12, then they'll say, why? So here's creativity. I can meet at 2. I can meet at 1. I can meet anytime between 1 and 3. And then he go, okay, how about 1:30? Cool. So, but you've got to know and not feel guilty for the no. Anytime you feel guilty, that's that letting go of the story you're telling yourself again. I want you to look underneath why you feel guilty. Is it because you're supposed to do something? Because you're supposed to say yes? And who told you that? It's a story you're telling yourself. It's a story that you're telling yourself. And so you've got to start to take time to really sit in reflection and look at how your life is going. Because you cannot be it all and do it all. Balances, there's no such thing. But you can indeed do everything you want to do. You've got to be strategic with your time, plan out your days. You've got to let go of story. You've got to be present now. Like, even dare I say, if I'm writing something and my email is open and an email pops up, I can't be present to what I'm writing because now I'm looking at my email. Sometimes when I'm on these lives, I put my phone, I turn it upside down so that I won't even see the text that comes through because then I'm not present to you. I'm looking at my phone. Like, I didn't see the text that came through till I showed you guys my note section because I'm present. And then I can be here fully and completely. I'm not a half do kind of girl. I want to be 100% full out. And so if you're going to be 100% full out, you've got to really, really be present. You've got to let go of story. You've got to be willing to say no and not feel guilty for that no, because you are the master of your time. Nobody else but you. You get to decide how you spend your days. You get to decide how you integrate the peace that you need so that you're not living stress, so that you're not leading to a heart attack. Hello, somebody. So that your life can live with grace and ease and flow. You've got to be willing to do the 5 things I just walked you through. So tell me the value you got out of what I just shared with you about moving beyond balance and really learning to equalize your life. And as you're sharing your comments, let me just also say this. If you have questions and you want a topic for me to cover a certain topic, and again, it's around 3 things. Number 1, your brilliance. Maybe you don't know what your purpose is. Maybe you don't know how to define it. Whatever those questions are around your purpose, your brilliance, and listen, I call it your brilliance because Matthew 5:16 says, let your light so shine among men and women. I added that, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. So it's my assignment in this life to make sure every person that I'm blessed to coach, teach, speak, that you are shining so bright, that you're brilliant. Get that? So that's why I call it your brilliance. But it's your purpose. God put you here on purpose for purpose. Do you know what that is? If you have questions around that, ask, send an email, ask me so I can cover that topic when I do these live. At least once a month, I come on live to cover something. The second area is a value tied to it. And now here's the thing. Some people don't realize that they are discounting their brilliance. And there's so many ways you do that. You overlook it because you give it away for free. You're not honoring your time, which is what I'm talking about today. And some of you don't even know what your values are. And so you're living out of alignment, period. So anything around that. And then third, of course, is making multiple streams of income from your brilliance, which is my brilliance. Hello. So if you have questions around any of those 3 areas, send in your questions. I'll choose topics that you share. When I do these at least once a month, I'm here with you. Other than that, I have guests with me, right? So working on integrating peace of mind, so important. Yes, Cindy. How do I start this from the beginning? You mean this video? So when I'm finished, it'll be here on blackdoctor.org, or you can look at it on blackdoctor.org on the YouTube channel. So once this is over, you can go, it'll be in replay mode, Terrell, if that's what you mean, right? That's good learning to know with no guilt, right? And really, when you have guilt, I want you guys to stop and ask yourself, why do I feel guilty? Why does this person or this thing or this opportunity or whatever is happening for you, why do I feel guilty? Ask yourself that. If you can peel back the layers and get clear on the root of the weed that's trying to choke out the seed of your happiness, of your breathtaking future, you nip it in the bud. Because then you'll see it as it rears its head over and over again. Good stuff, y'all. So Two things I ask, and if you have questions, please post them now. As you do these, come back to this and tell me the value you got. Tell me you're implementing it. Tell me the area that you were challenged in and you found a solution. Love to hear it. Also, if you got value, can you do me a favor and click below? First of all, like this in Facebook, those of you that are here with me live, or if you're coming back and watching the replay of Facebook, like it. The reason I do that, it's not about me. I appreciate you. I love you too, Carolyn. It's not about me. So when you like it, it stays in the feed so other people can hear the insight that's needed here. Okay. The second thing I ask you to do is share it because somebody else in your network may need it. Right. So that's our conversation for today. I'm always here for 30 minutes or less. If you guys don't have any questions that I can honor you with. So once a month, I come on, I teach you. And then all the other weeks of the month, I bring experts in one of those three areas to help you bankroll your brilliance, right? Really am enjoying. I appreciate you, Lubin. So thank you so much. Very good. Whenever I say no, I always seem to explain why. And when you explain why, guess what? They talk you out of your why. It's none of their business. You just can't do it. The rest of it is none of their business. This is your life. And what I always say is just give them a friendly edit. So instead of saying no, you can say, like my husband says, can you go to the cleaners? Not today. I can go tomorrow. I can go tomorrow. And he'll go, oh, I need it today. Okay, I guess I got to go. Okay. So try the friendly edit. If no isn't working, don't explain it. Give a friendly edit. And please call me Nicole. Mrs. Jones is my mother-in-law. She's no longer with us, but yeah. So with that said, y'all, it's my honor and privilege to be here with you every week. Even on the road, I'm here, right? My background may be different, but I'm still present. So this episode, again, walked you through the 5 areas you need to truly move beyond balance to equalize your life. What does that, let me see. What does that yes stop you from accomplishing? I had to evaluate. Yes, Kimberly, that's so good, right? Because sometimes when other people get on your agenda, you can't get your stuff done because you're busy doing their stuff. Like when I first started working from home, my husband always had agendas for me, and I had to say, So instead of saying no, which would lead to a why and maybe an argument, even though we don't argue, it could have. I did a friendly edit. I can do it tomorrow. I can do that next week. And then he can decide from there if he wants to do it himself or ask somebody else. Not my business. But you really got to let go. And everything I've taught you with those 5 steps, the thing that would sabotage any of them is guilt. Is guilt. So again, with that said, y'all, that's this episode. I don't see any questions. So it's always my honor and privilege to be here to pour into you. Right. Kimberly said, I love saying no. So powerful. It is. Yes. Again, my honor and privilege to be here with you every week for Bankroll Your Brilliance Thursday. So listen, send your questions in. Happy to answer them. Join me next Thursday for another episode, 12 p.m. EST every Thursday. I'm here with you. All right. Have a good rest of your Thursday, y'all. I'll see you next week. Bye.